So I get this message from my new friend, Sarah, who found me through this YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and maybe I can make a video for you too. She sends me this message. She says, "Hey Lee, I know I need to pick a niche." And like when you pick a niche, like she intellectually understands that it's like, more leads, better qualified clients, higher paying projects, longer term relationships. It's just better when you go in that direction. But she also says, "I feel this huge sense of resistance," is how she phrased it, which I thought was really, really a good way to phrase it. This huge sense of resistance in picking a niche. And the reason for that is because when you get into a situation where you really need some clients and some leads right now, it feels weird to start like closing all of these other doors of opportunity and just focusing on one thing. And so by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can do both, right? So in Blue Theory, we've got this thing called the Delta method. And I'm going to show you how you can basically structure your business in a way where you can have your cake and eat it too. Like you can pick a niche while also leaving all of these other doors of opportunity open for people that are not inside of your niche. And that way you can get lots of leads. And if you need leads, check out this course right here. It's totally free. It's the ultimate guide to finding leads. It's just lee.blue/leads. It's totally free. Check it out. I think there's like 7 different strategies for finding leads. Plus you'll get my Local Market Gems ebook with over 30 different examples of high ticket niches to focus on. It's check that out. It's a great way to get started. But let's talk about how you can both pick a niche and not pick a niche simultaneously with the Delta method. And I think you'll feel this big sense of relief once you kind of see how this whole thing works. It's not very complicated, but it's also really eye-opening. So here's how it works. So it's called the Delta method because it looks kind of like a triangle. And at the top of the triangle, you have your business entity, like your LLC or like whatever your actual business is, regardless of the services that you offer. Just like when you file taxes or whatever, that's the name under which you file the taxes. And then that branches off into 2 things. And one side is your traditional web agency. And so I was talking to my other friend, Colin, who found me through this YouTube channel too. And he's got this business, we're talking this morning, he has this business called Brand and Brag, I think. And so Brand and Brag was his LLC. And then he has a website called brandandbrag.net or .com or something like that, like his regular web agency website. And when you look at it, it's really nicely designed. It's cool stuff. It's all the traditional services, like his web design and marketing and hosting and all the stuff that you would expect to see on a regular web agency website. And he gets leads from that. He'll get clients through that website. But they're not really leads in the sense of people that don't know him first. It's more like referrals. They look at the website, they see his portfolio, they like it, and then they give him a call. And that's really what the problem is with the traditional web agency model. There's nothing wrong with having a traditional agency. The only thing that's bad about it is it stinks at getting leads. It doesn't pull leads from a cold audience. People generally have to know you first. And the reason for that is you're not really offering anything on the website. Other than saying that you know how to do some stuff, you're not really offering any specific outcomes. And so that means if someone doesn't know you first, then they're looking at this and be like, well, what's the difference between this website and the millions of other websites that all say the same thing? And what you really need in order for a website like that to work for you is the authority of other relationships. So referrals from networking groups, past clients, friends and family, stuff like that. We heavily, heavily rely on relationships with getting clients for a traditional web agency. And so if you happen to have relationships or if you get referrals, then great. You might want to take on this project. So you might as well say yes if you want to. There's no reason to turn that off if it's working. The problem is, what if you don't have the relationships? Or what if you've already worked with all your friends and family? Or what if your friends and family have a price point that's too low for what you really want to be charging and you really want to start expanding the business and reaching a new audience? Well, it's really, really hard to do that with a traditional web agency website. So that's where the next branch comes in. So you have the Delta method. At the top, you have your LLC. On one side, you have your traditional web agency. And on the other side, you have your solution first agency. And that's where you pick a niche, develop a solution, and then tell people about it. And it's so the reason that this works so much better for generating traffic and leads from a cold audience, like people that don't know you first, is because it's not relying on you. People want access to the outcome that your solution generates over here. So all of this is about, can I get the result that this solution generates? Over here, it's, can I work with the person that knows how to do the things? And so if they don't know you, if someone doesn't know me, then why would they want to work with me over somebody else that they also don't know? And so that's why you really need that borrowed authority from relationships to make your web agency website pull in new clients for you. Whereas over here, it's not about me. It's about this solution that I've created. And as you begin to get more clients and build case studies, the solution itself is the thing that matters the most. Even if you're not doing the work, it's that's another really important point. Like with the solution first agency model, what that allows you to do is like maybe you do all the work at first, and then eventually you could expand out and get some white labeled services to begin to outsource some of the work you don't want to do anymore. Like part of Blue Theory includes access to our internal teams for SEO, for copywriting, for social media management. So that's all stuff that's really labor intensive and time consuming and kind of hard to do. You probably want to offer that to your clients, but you don't necessarily want to do all of that yourself as you begin to expand out. And so that's pretty cool because they're not really worried about whether or not you personally are doing the work. They want access to the solution. And that's one of the big differences between the solution first agency and the traditional web agency. As the traditional agency, people want access to you and they need confidence in you personally. So this is like a self-confidence kind of business model. Over here in the solution first agency, it's a solution confidence business model. Like they don't necessarily need access to me personally. They want access to the results my solution generates. And the more I do that over and over, the more social proof and trust and authority my solution first agency has, even to the point where I could remove myself entirely from the business and this still retains all of its value. Whereas over here, if I remove myself entirely from a consulting agency, they're probably not going to want to work with me anymore because it's not me, it's somebody else. And they're like, hey, Lee, if it's not you, I don't know these people. I don't know if they can solve the problems as well as you can. I don't know if I want to do business with this agency anymore if you're not there. Whereas over here, it's not about that. It's like this system generates the results whether I'm there or not. And that way you can have both at the same time, especially in the beginning. Like if you don't have a solution first agency, you have a traditional agency, you don't have to shut down the traditional agency to launch the solution first one. Do the Delta method and you've got all of it at the same time. And at the top, you have your LLC, your business model, your however you file taxes, like your business entity. And then over on one side, you have like a consulting agency. And on the other side, you have your solution first agency. And these two things can piggyback with each other. So for example, my friend Colin, he says that his business entity is, I think, Brandon Bragg. His agency is brandonbragg.com. And then he could set up another website called like localbragg.com, which would be how to generate leads for local businesses, for example, like a lead generation platform for local businesses. And that could be his solution first agency. And the reason that the solution first agency drives so many more leads is because you can get the wording right and the outcome, the specific outcomes. Like think, for example, even if you wanted to talk about local businesses, and this is what Colin and I were talking about earlier, it's like you can have the name Local Bragg, but you need to tell people specifically who it's for in order for them to believe that it's the right fit for them. Because it's not enough just to say, hey, we help you get more leads. It's like, well, what kind of leads? Well, what if it's a local retail business? They want foot traffic. Right? They want people to physically come into the store and buy stuff. But what if it's like a local service professional or like a real estate agent, like somebody that goes to you? It's like, I don't want people to come to me. I want to go to them. It's like, I don't even have a store for people to come by. It's like, what I want is appointments. So like, I want to go out and like meet with people. So that would be like appointments would be an outcome. Or what if it's like a semi-emergency style business? Like I lock myself out of my house or my car and I need a locksmith or something like that. It's like, I want people to come and help me right now. Like I don't want to set an appointment. I don't need to get an estimate. I just need your help right now. So that's a different kind of lead. So like depending on who the audience is, they have different types of outcomes. Like, do you see what I mean by that? Like it's a nuance, but it's really important because if people can look at what your offer is and say, that's exactly what I need, then you're building authority without them having to know who you are first. They want the outcome that your solution generates, not just access to pick your brain. You see what I mean? And so that way you can have both. And the problem with this one over here is that you need to pick the niche. You have to do a lot of upfront work. Like you're picking the niche, figuring out the outcomes, building out the solution, like doing some research to figure out what is involved with the solution. And that's a huge thing that I can help you with in Blue Theory. But there's a significant amount of upfront work to kind of build a solution like that. Whereas over here, there's zero upfront work. You just say, I know how to do all the things, and then you get leads. The problem with it is you don't actually get the leads. You have to rely on the referrals and the relationships. And that's, I think, the big trick, I guess, behind the web agency thing. It's like it's all about relationships. Where the trick over here with the solution first agency, it's all about outcomes and results. Even if you don't have relationships with people, like even if you're getting cold traffic from places, they'll work with you still because they want the result that your solution provides for them. And that's huge. So that way you can get cold traffic coming in, you've got relationships and referrals coming in, you've got two engines pushing your business forward at the same time, and you can definitely clear six figures with without too much stress. It's hard to make six figures no matter what you do, but it's a lot easier to do it if you've got two engines pushing your business forward at the same time. Whereas if you don't do it this way and you're just relying on the web agency part of it, it can be good while you're getting the referrals, but when the referrals stop, you feel like there's nothing that you can do about it because you just have to keep hoping that you get a referral or a call from somewhere. It's very difficult to market the business. Whereas over here, if you have this other branch to your business, then if you're not getting enough referrals over here, you can actually do something about it. You can do outreach. And like another big thing that we talk about in Blue Theory is our small favor outreach marketing practice, which is where you actually go out and you pinpoint the people that you know will be a good fit for you and then mention it. So you're treating your solution first agency like a product launch. You're doing interruptive marketing. You're telling people that you're out there and you can provide this particular outcome for them. Over here, it's not interruptive marketing. It's like organic search. It's like people know that there's web designers. You can get organic search. It's difficult to get leads from that like we talked about, but at least you can be discovered and you can also get referrals and your relationships. But when you put both of them together, that gives you the best of both worlds, because when you're not getting the referrals that you need, instead of just holding your breath and hoping that something happens, you can actually do something about it with your solution first agency and your small favor outreach, where you're actually targeting the people that you know that you want, doing your own lead generation into cold traffic. Do both at the same time, got a really solid business model. Now, once you get that set up, if that's making sense to you, give me a thumbs up and let me know. But once you have that set up, check out this next video because someone's trying to steal your clients. And I think you're going to be surprised at who it is. Check this one out right here. I'll see you there.